This next guy is a regular on our stage, as well as the creator of the Fantasy Football Monsters. Welcome back, the always funny Scott Gerhardt.
Hey, you NFL hooligans. We got ourselves a rowdy crowd tonight, I see. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Everyone needs to get a little rowdy now and then, right? I mean, even Panthers fans can get rowdy now. And on behalf of the win column, I'd like to welcome you to the party. But who else are we waiting on here? Oh, Titans road win. Nope, Steelers RSVP'd no for them on that on Thursday. So we haven't seen you guys since November 17th last year. But really, they're only slightly better than the Cardinals, who haven't won on the road since November 13th last year. I mean, as a matter of fact, except for the Cowboys win this year, that was their last win, period. They've lost 14 of their last 15. Even the Bears are impressed with that level of ineptitude. Despite the Cowboys win, they still have the longest active losing streak, right now at 5. So I guess Houston and Jacksonville aren't the only teams looking to a tank. But hot on their heels are the Packers, mind you. If not for a Saints collapse week 3, they'd actually have that lead. Hey-yo. How's that whole Jordan Love experiment going for you? I mean, I can't really say too much. Until this year, the Packers had 2 starting quarterbacks in the last 31 years. They were due for a dud. They were some big shoes. But let's look at something even more incredible. Guess which team has the longest winning streak right now? The Jaguars. It just goes to show you how quickly things can change in the NFL. You remember Blake Bortles? Yeah, most Jaguars fans tried to forget too. So, I have a correction to last week's routine. I said the battle for New Jersey would be to see which team the New York media would roast the rest of the year. That was definitely wrong. After that game, they're both fair game. I know the Jets hit the win column, but there were no winners there. The game had more punts than points. I had more air yards than the Giants did. 9 of them more. Brian Daboll is trying really hard to prove that last year's Coach of the Year award, it was a fluke. Mission accomplished. But you all know, all of this said, I give up really trying to figure this league out. As soon as I think I do, the Broncos keep the Chiefs completely out of the end zone and smoke them 24-9. I mean, maybe Peyton really just played the whole league showing us his play sheet a couple weeks back. Maybe it was a fake. That'd be some next level tech if I'm being honest. But at least Taylor Swift was there. Well, in song at least, since really the best part was when Denver musically told Kansas City to shake it off after the game. I am a fan of a good trolling, and that was some Reddit-level shit right there. So going from shake it off to shake it up, after the Monday night drubbing, the Raiders dumped McDaniels, their GM, and some coaches, costing the team what's going to be probably about $85 million total. Between that and Gruden, maybe Mark Davis will start keeping his head coaches to maybe in like 1 or 2 years. Maybe. McDaniels had a 6-year deal and then got fired halfway through his 2nd year. How the hell did he even get a 1-year deal? I mean, let alone 6. I mean, if Mark wants to burn money that bad, I know a comic that he could sponsor. I'm a hell of a lot cheaper, and I should cause way less destruction for the team. I'm not really sure how I could cause more. And if you're a Niners fan right now, you have got to be pulling your hair out. Yes, you got Chase Young at the deadline, but you've gone from winning 15 regular season games in a row to losing 3. And life doesn't get much easier with the Jags coming after the bye, so yeah, good luck with that one. So week 9 coming up here, this is like NFL nirvana. There are so many freaking amazing games on Sunday, and they spread them out perfectly. Maybe too perfectly. First of all, the NFL is giving Frankfurt a Game of the Year candidate in Miami versus Kansas City in the early window, which could easily be a preview of the AFC Championship game. I don't want to, but my West Coast ass is waking up at 6 a.m. to watch it. Thank God for daylight savings time ending. Now, in the late early window, there are 14 teams, 3 of which have winning records. Luckily, 2 of which are playing each other in the Seahawks and the Ravens. The other 6 games are literally for people with fringe fantasy players trying to fill on bye weeks and Taysom Hill. Now, the early-late window has the classics of the Colts versus Panthers or the Giants versus Raiders, both of which should be equally painful to watch. But luckily, we have the Cowboys at the Eagles, which is damn near a holiday for a Cowboy fan like me. Now, I'm not making any predictions here at all. I know my reverse psychology on the whims of fate worked last week, but, we're not going to push our luck. And finally, in the late window, you have the Bills at the Bengals, with this being the first game this season that the Bills actually aren't favored. Now, if the first 11 hours of football doesn't have you plastered already, you can make the late game a drinking game. And yes, drinking hours are allowed to start when the first game starts. So for me, that was 6:30 a.m. Every time someone mentions DeMar Hamlin, you take a drink. That would lead to a lot of hangovers on Monday. Now, my fiance is a saint for putting up with me on days like this. I'm going to have my eyes glued to the set all day. I think she mostly just writes me off on Sundays. It's 14 hours of games. I get it, sweetie. I'm sorry. I write myself off, too. Now, this is opposed to Week 10, where there are exactly 2 games in the entire slate between teams with winning records. I mean, I know the NFL can't know records in advance, but when your marquee game is the aforementioned Niners and Jaguars, I'd expect viewership to go down. I mean, at least if you're not a degenerate. I mean, for people like me, I'll still abuse the Red Zone channel because I still play fantasy. But at least they were nice enough to put the Colts versus Patriots in the early window. Sleep. Sweet. Sleep. Well, that's my time, everyone. Thank you very much. Have a good night.